Everything in my life changed when I stopped pouring my energy into other people, other things, other distractions, and I finally full-heartedly just choose myself. I choose myself because there's only one life. You have one life, and you're the only person you got. So you better really like who you are, and you better start picking yourself over literally any other thing in this world. Hey guys, I'm Brie. I talk about all things self-love and just becoming the highest version of yourself and stepping into the person who you were always made to be. So today we are talking about choosing yourself finally, because baby, you need to start choosing yourself. Like, there is no one out there in the world coming to save you. No one is. Sometimes you need to sit there and actually take accountability for your life, because you might have not been the one who damaged you, or you might be put in a situation that isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Things aren't always fair. However, we do, after a certain point, need to take accountability that this is our lives. This is our one and only lives, and we can decide and we can choose who we want to become. Now, personally, I feel like my life has just been a continuous pattern of losing myself and then finding myself over and over and over again. And sometimes it's just like that. Sometimes the cycle be like that. And sometimes I can look in the mirror and understand when I feel like I'm losing myself that it's really just me discovering a new part of myself or discovering a different aspect of my life. Losing yourself sucks. The feeling of it literally sucks. It feels like you're lost, confused, you don't know what to do, you don't even know really who you are, and it's a terrible feeling when you've had the feeling of being just so happy and whole in yourself too, and you have that feeling to compare it against, where it's like, why was I like this at one point and now I feel like this? Like, how did I even get here to this point? Feeling disconnected from your own identity is probably one of the worst feelings, in my personal opinion, because you just are like, who are you? Who are you? What did you do to get here, and why do I not feel like how I used to? I mean, we can literally lose ourselves so easily if we're not careful, especially when you're giving your energy to the wrong people, people who aren't aligning with you, people who aren't meeting you at the same place that you are. And sometimes you just need to be cautiously aware of that. And it just sucks. The feeling just sucks of losing yourself. And it's just like, I don't even know how I got here. And that's because you give your energy to other things that aren't actually in your best interest. Especially in relationships, I feel like it's pretty easy to lose yourself, because personally, like, my attachment is like this. And sometimes that attachment isn't always healthy or what is actually best for me. And I know for a lot of my friends and stuff, they stayed in relationships where they felt like they literally lost all their confidence because they were afraid of starting over again. And newsflash, guys, you're gonna start over 10 million times in this life. You will never be fully complete. You will never be fully complete. At least I know I won't, because I have changed myself so much over the past 2 years. Like, I've probably become like 10 different people at this point, honestly. And I love it. But that is one reason people stay in relationships and stay in situations where they feel like they just aren't themselves, and they eventually get to the point where they just feel so disconnected from who they're supposed to be, and you just don't even know who you're supposed to be at that point. But do not worry. Do not worry. You can always choose yourself, and you can always like run to God too. That's like a huge thing for me personally. Whenever I'm struggling with my identity or anything, like, I know that I don't know everything, but God, He knows everything. Yeah, you need to stop pouring your energy into other people and start pouring all of that back into yourself. And I know that's like a lot easier said than done, especially when you're in the mindset of being like, I want this person, I love this person, like, what do you mean? Like, you have to like find yourself all over again. But that is like one of the best experiences and choices that you can make, is choosing to find yourself all over again. You know, a lot of people talk about when they choose themselves again, how they have moments of clarity where it just hits. It's like, I can't live like this anymore. I can't keep doing this to myself anymore. And this can be in a relationship, with just like depression, with anything. For me personally, like, I've had like times in my life where it's like I've lived a certain lifestyle and I'm just like, this is not who I want to be. This is not who I am. Who is this person? Because that's not me, and I don't choose to be this person anymore. And you have to decide right from that moment exactly who you want to be, exactly who you want to become. It's crazy because like you really do feel this shift shift inside of you where it's like, wow, I'm not going to accept the bare minimum anymore. I'm not going to accept something that I don't want for my life anymore. I want something better for myself. And it's not a huge dramatic thing. It's just something that like switches inside of you. And it's like, I know I'm made for so much more than this. I know you are made for so much more than this. And that feeling is literally one of the most groundbreaking, amazing feelings ever. Because you know there's just so much more. And there's something out there that's so much more than what you have right now and where you're at right now. Now, what does like choosing yourself actually mean? Because I've seen so many videos like this and it's like, oh, just choose yourself. Oh, just pour all that energy back into yourself. And it's like, that is so hypothetically great. Thank you so much for telling me that. However, I can't do that where I'm emotionally at. And sometimes you have to process and get to the point where it's just like, hey, I can't do this anymore. And then you can finally pour that energy into yourself. But sometimes you also need to like be shown, like, what do you mean? Like, how do I choose myself and stop pouring energy into all these other things that I don't want for my life, that I don't want for me, because there's something so much more for me and I know this is what I want. How do I stop giving everything I have to this? Let me tell you, you got to get real honest with how you think and feel about yourself, okay? What are your patterns? What type of people do you attract into your life? What habits do you have? Are you the type of person you feel like you are confident, like genuinely confident? Do you feel like you genuinely have discipline? You also are gonna have to get real honest about accepting that other people aren't where you're at. They are not where you're at. They aren't where your headspace at. They aren't where your emotional availability is at. None of it, okay? You're just gonna have to accept that you can't control other people. You can't control other people. And that's like also a big thing from Mel Robbins. Oh, love that girl. But her book, Let Them Theory, like that whole book basically is just, you can't control other people's actions. The only actions that you can control are your own. That's it. Accepting that and finally understanding that everything they do, everything, whatever situation you got going on, has nothing to do with you. Has absolutely nothing to do with you. If they don't choose you, if they don't come after you, if they don't do whatever, it literally only has to do with them and all their issues and everything that they're working towards. That doesn't equate to your own worthiness, your own happiness. None of it. Absolutely none of it. And accepting that some people just simply can't show up for you because they're just not there yet is a huge part of finally just choosing yourself and choosing happiness instead of hoping that one day someone will do something, because in reality, they're just not gonna be there. They're not gonna be there as quickly as you want. And I trust me, whoever you are meant for, they'll be where you're at, okay? Whoever you're supposed to meet will be at the same place that you're at, okay? I feel like choosing yourself is also, it's so important where you put your energy, because a lot of the times we put our focus and energy onto things that actually don't matter at all in the slightest, especially like social media, in my personal opinion, because I'm pretty bad about social media, I'm not gonna lie. I'm always on that. And it really does, whatever you're like interacting with, whatever you're thinking about, it's changing the way you think and it's changing how you view things. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. For me, like things that pop up on my For You page are typically pretty positive, I would say. However, there are certain things that pop up that like get me into a negative frame of mind, and I simply could easily choose not to pour my energy into that. However, I continuously do. So breaking that habit is just a huge thing, and especially just interacting and entertaining and focusing on things that I actually want to focus on. I feel like another huge thing in rediscovering yourself is pouring yourself into your passions. You have a purpose, you have a reason actually, and you have habits and passions. I promise you, if you feel like you don't have any like passions at all, get a hobby, babe. Get a hobby. Okay, let's read a book. Let's go to the gym. Let's paint a picture. I don't know. I have no idea what your cup of tea is. Maybe you like running. Like, start running. Like, there's just 1,000 things that you don't even know, like, what actually is for you if you feel like you don't have a hobby. Like, start doing something. Look up a list of hobbies, whatever catches your eye. You're gonna suck at it. Okay, you're gonna suck at it. I suck at a lot of my hobbies, or I did suck at a lot of my hobbies, and eventually I actually got pretty freaking good at some of my hobbies. Thank you very much. But everyone sucks at what they start to begin with. And who knows, it might be a passion of yours. Just pour your energy into things other than the situation that you're focused on, okay? Pour yourself into things that actually will help grow and expand your mind. And ultimately, I feel like sometimes it can be confusing. It's like, how do I choose myself if I don't even know who I am? For me, I'm a huge visual person. Like, I formulate a vibe through like music and Pinterest and visuals, okay? Create who you want to be. Create who you want to be. If you're not a visual person, make a list. Make a list of the qualities, the habits, the things that the person who you really want to be would have. So ultimately, like when you're choosing yourself, you kind of just have to accept that people are the way they are. You have to accept your own fault and failure in either the situation or just whatever situation you're going through. And you have to start pouring all that energy into you. What do you like? What do you love? What hobbies do you like? Figure out who you are again. Find yourself again. Like, it's a good journey. It doesn't need to be this huge negative thing. It's like, oh, I lost myself. I gotta do all this. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose yourself a lot in this life, but you're also going to find a new version of you every single time, and it's going to be 10 million times better than what's past. And I feel like when you finally start doing this and start choosing yourself fully, you become so detached from whatever the situation was, whatever you went through. If that was like depression, if it was a relationship, whatever, you feel genuinely detached from it. It doesn't feel like you anymore because you've grown past it, and it's like you're a new person. Genuinely is like you're a new person. Like, you don't feel bitterness over the whole situation. You don't feel like you lost years from the whole situation. It just feels done. It feels new, and it feels clean and fresh, and like you're ready to begin again and ready to step into this person who you're really meant to be, who would never fall into this exact same situation that you did before. You know, when you start doing this and you start genuinely picking yourself, a lot of amazing things actually happen. Like, you feel very detached from a lot of things. You feel very detached from certain situations, certain people, certain issues that you've had before. And it's like, wow, like this is actually genuinely insane how detached I feel from this versus how I acted like 3 months ago. When you start picking yourself, you start to feel a lot more grounded and a lot less reactive to things. Like, I've had times where I've just felt so reactive, and it was just like an anger in my soul that was just like wanted to like burst to the surface. It just feels like a lesson that you had to go through. There's not a bitterness around it. There isn't like a hatred around it. It just feels like an experience that you're grateful for, actually, and it's not like something that's haunting you or cursing you anymore. I remember when I got out of a relationship, I wanted to like jump back into something because like I was kind of addicted to like the thrill of having something for once in my life where it feels like, oh yeah, it's like chaotic in your mind, it's like all consuming, and it's not peaceful. It's not peaceful at all, let me tell you that. But the second I started just like fully choosing myself and realizing that was getting me nowhere, that was literally getting me nowhere, pouring into other people, it just like, there's no point because all those people are just gonna let you down over and over again till you find the right person. So the second I started like literally choosing myself, because there's no other person to choose but me, genuinely. But the second I started doing that, I started realizing the value of my peace and the value of my happiness and the value of me like never losing myself again in a person or a thing or an experience. I genuinely will never ever do that again ever in my life. Yeah, I could definitely say that. And once you finally find yourself, you value it so much that you never want to lose yourself, and therefore you value that peace you have finally. And it's like, wow, peacefulness is actually amazing. It's actually great. And I don't need this chaotic thing that doesn't help me or benefit me at all, but this peace does, and it makes me happy, and it makes me so content just living the life I want to live. I also feel like God has a huge role in all of this, genuinely, because you can pick yourself as much as you want, but if you don't pick God, then girl, good luck. I mean, like, I just have a lot of unrelenting faith that everything happens for a reason. And I know for a fact, like, every experience is meant to grow me and meant to grow me into the person that I'm meant to be. Every experience I go through, everything, I know that all of it's just meant to realign my life for what's actually meant for me. There's something so much more out there that's meant for you, that's meant for me, that's meant for all of us, okay? So I just wanted to remind you guys that you genuinely can wake up any single day on this earth and choose to be your best self. Choose to choose yourself and choose to become whoever you want to be. You have one life. You have one life and this is it. You might as well make the most of it, and you might as well start picking yourself and fully giving everything you can to yourself. You are going to come back 10 million times stronger from whatever you're going through. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I also hope you guys follow if you guys want more like advice type videos. I make videos on TikTok too, which is fun. I love helping people in any way possible, and maybe just like spreading a little bit of love in this world. Bye. See ya.